Oh, you know it's off the change.
All right, bang, bam, bam, bam. I know it's been a minute. It's been 2 weeks since you heard from him. So it's Off the Change podcast is back. We are back in full swing, and we back with our heavyweight guest, the heaviest ever, the heavyweight guest yet. Understand me? So anyway, off the change moments have happened this week. We've lost the a triumvirate of our poets and our hip hop artists. We lost DMX, Black Rob, Shock G. So shout out to them and their families. Rest in heaven, rest in peace. We're gonna pay homage to them a lot this month. And also, what else has happened this off the change, Kristy? Off the change this week.
Oh, well, I just came back from a little girls' retreat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me about it. You didn't tell me about it. That's what's off the change about it.
Some of it's kind of like we can't talk about it.
Yeah, that's I kind of wanted to pull out of you, but anyway.
It's a girls' retreat, Steph.
Yeah,
girls' retreat. And then there was this thing called Ain't No PowerPoint presentation.
That's what I'm talking about. The Ain't No PowerPoint presentation. We have to talk about that definitely. Right. That's because that's definitely off the change. Yeah, Dean. Don't worry about it, Dean. We're gonna get to it.
You didn't say ain't no.
No.
Okay. I heard that correctly.
Woo. So off the change is back. I am your host. I am Steph Sanders everywhere. Steph Sanders everywhere. And my lovely, dynamic, beautiful co-host, the freaky Miss Kristy Nong. Persuasion in the building. And we got always our engineer, our producer, Sharon Smith in the building. Today, like I said, I love doing this podcast because I got to bring some of my greatest friends in the building, but also I have been a fan of this guy, not before I met him even, and then I got to know him, and he's actually in entertainment. I tell you all the time, I said, if you want to, people ask me all the time, hey, how was Said or how was so-and-so? I was like, you want to know from a fan standpoint or really? Because a lot of them are not cool. This brother is the downest brother and has been on done everything. Just was on Tiffany Haddish's She Ready season 2 Netflix, but it's on one of the most iconic shows in comedy, Saturday Night Live, SNL. And he does impressions, he does everything. The boy is brilliant. I love that he reads. I see the books behind him. Give it up, everybody, right now for my favorite New Yorker, Mr. Dean Edwards.
Dean in the building.
Oh,
representing Brooklyn.
Hey, you know what? When you said triumvirate, I was like, I'm so glad I have books. Like I know some vocabulary, some SAT words, man.
I see it.
So of course, that's my dude. We go back. We go way back, man. Hanging out at our boy. Shout out to Rich Pierre Louis.
Right. Mr. Commercial.
That's your favorite Brooklyn. I'll be your second favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rich, get in
dude.
his feelings, man.
You seen Rich in every commercial there is.
That safe driving, save 40%. Yo, I was like, oh, you buy the house off of that joint, man.
Right.
Because you know what? Because it premiered right at the beginning of the pandemic. Right at like mid-March 2020, that joint hit, and that joint ran the whole
pandemic.
It's still running.
Yeah.
It's still running. Like 3 others.
The Snickers commercial when the draws got me.
The Snickers joint in the tidy whities is hilarious, man. So I'm super happy for Rich. You're always happy when you see your friends working, because that way they don't have to borrow money from you. Right. That's right. B is just it inspires you because you're like, okay, this is why we do this to do something greater and get something on TV. We were all at some point kids in our bedrooms or in the living room watching, like, man, I'm gonna get on there one day. Yep. So when you turn on TV and you see your buddy on there multiple times within an hour, you're like, okay, that's a win. And also to piggyback off of what Steph Burger King Bathroom Sanders said earlier, you're right. Everyone in Hollywood, this is actually just piggybacking off of what you said.
Yeah.
Everyone you meet in the industry isn't down to earth, but Cedric is. I know you didn't mean it that way, but
no.
How the sentence was structured, I was like, here, let me make sure that I cover your back.
Yes. So
people ain't like, yo, he said ain't done no.
No. Said cool. That's as a matter of fact, that's my fraternity brother.
Boom.
We both noops and said showed me mad love. So
That's what's up.
I was giving examples. But
yeah, no, I
right.
knew,
Right.
but I was like, people will compress and take a clip
and cancel me.
and can attempt to cancel. Yeah.
Attempt to cancel me. So we're gonna start most recent and work back. How was it doing the She Readies too, man?
It was They Ready because I'm not a she.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ready.
Yeah,
but
no,
that
Tiffany Haddish presents They Ready. Season 2 was awesome, man. It's I mean, it's I'm still floating. We premiered February 2nd.
Yeah.
And the feedback is still positive. And I just spoke to one of the other cast members or season 2 comedians that just had something great, and that's the beauty of it is you don't, because it's on Netflix, like we've all done television shows from Saturday Night Live to Def Comedy Jam, Comic View, Premium Blend, Showtime Apollo. We've done all types of stand-up comedy showcases, but the beauty of They Ready is it's streaming worldwide on Netflix, which is probably the number one streaming platform in the world. Streaming all over the world. So I've had people reach out to me, giving me dap from Egypt to Dubai to Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Europe, South Africa, just getting worldwide love immediately versus back in the days when something would come out here and then it would slowly spread.
2 years later.
2 years later, like we getting that love now, and seeing the billboard in Times Square and in LA and man, it's been dope, and more importantly, people are responding in a positive way. The people are laughing, and given everything that we're dealing with in the world, that's the goal, is just to get people laughing, get people sort of taking their minds off of the mundane and the frustrations that they might be experiencing, and lighten their load and maybe if possible hit them in the head with some insight or something. I don't think a lot of people that don't look like us were really aware of the lack of representation, or aren't aware. And so when you see a comic like myself on stage saying, the Little Mermaid is cool, but little girls of all colors, little Asian girls should have a Disney princess, little Black girls have a Disney princess, little Middle Eastern girls should have a Disney princess. I think it's also giving them some insight, that maybe we are lacking and we should change a little bit.
Right, and doing it creatively, that much more powerful. I was super proud of you, man. I was super proud to see everything, and also as a comic to see, comics we judge, we hard as hardest critics and so forth.
Yeah,
and when I saw, first of all, two of my favorite people, you and Tony Woods, I was like,
Bobo Woodgy,
Tony Woods, some dude, because as in the industry amongst comedians, we know who Tony Woods is.
Yeah.
That the world needed to see, and then people were like, yo, man, this cat, I seen this cat doing his impression. This cat, Dean Edwards. I was like, do I know Dean Edwards?
Right.
And then I put my chest out. Me and Dean Edwards, man, we used to eat at McDonald's.
Right. And then they're like, you don't know Dean Edwards.
Dean Edwards. I was like, watch, I'm going to have you on my show, watch.
Right.
So Dean, I got a question for you. Being said, I mean, you are getting off to a good start this year. Did last year during the pandemic, how did that affect your comedy career? Did it slow you down at all?
It's slowed down in that I mean there were a bunch of big bags that were that were in the I say it jokingly but seriously, like had the pandemic waited 2 weeks, Godfrey and I, we had a tour we were doing.
Would have messed up your money.
Yeah, we were supposed to hit Riyadh and Jeddah in Saudi, Doha and Qatar, Kuwait and Bahrain. We had a 2-week tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. They paid.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah. So look, when they I was the promoter. Shout out to Hollywood Pop Up. They had us all set. And at the end of February, I was in LA. I was actually at the Laugh Factory. Ran into one of the promoters, happened to be in LA. So he and I were talking. He said, yeah, with all this back then, that's when it was just Corona, right? We didn't even say COVID-19. He was like, yeah, this Corona thing, Bahrain is getting a little nervous, so they might pull out. And then they pulled out. I was like, all right, well, we still have, Saudi and Qatar and Kuwait. So that's 4. So he was still good. He was like, and then he called like a couple of days later. He was like, yeah, so now Qatar pulled out. I was like, okay, we still. And then Bahrain pulled out. I was like, okay, can we at least, can we at least have the ones in Saudi? And then Saudi pulled out. And dude, I was crushed because I was like, all we needed was it to push back
2 weeks. April.
Because then I had 3 weeks. I had a cruise gig in Colombia that was a big bag, So in within that month's time, I was good. Yeah. Really for the rest of the year, and then that shut down. But I never really lost faith in what we done. I don't think I was really suffering from any sort of depression because, when you have a family, you got to find a way. And I was like, we're healthy. It was more of a frustration because, like my eldest daughter had to graduate high school and start college during all of this, so that was frustrating.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. She did her thing, made it happen. And yeah, man, then when Tiffany, called, because she called mid-August and said, are you ready? I was like, I've been ready. And she was like, all right, well, we shooting at the beginning of October. So I only had about 4 weeks of prep time. And at the time when she called, I only had one. I had one gig. My first gig was in Minneapolis. Go figure. It was in Minneapolis at Acme Comedy Club. And I had that the first weekend of September. And so then, that's when you've been doing this long enough, or we've been doing it long enough to where my agents could say, look, Dean is shooting for Netflix and he needs to work out his material. Cause that is the longest any of us have not been on stage. Usually like you go 10 days. If we go on vacation or something and I'm off stage for 2 weeks, I feel rusty.
Rusty.
Real rusty.
First so set, I tell people from the beginning, I apologize.
Yeah, don't take this too personally. And so this was like a 6-month hiatus, but man, it's the muscle memory was there. And I think Tiffany did a great job recruiting 6 comics that she knew could deliver during a pandemic where we're all socially distanced. The audience is masked. We actually shot that. Y'all might not even realize we shot that outdoors.
I saw that.
We shot it outside. People were masked. And but we found a way to make it happen. And because I had those 4 weeks of prep time, how we do, Steph, is like, everything we did when we first started, as far as like, you tape every set and you listen and you watch. And I was just doing that for a month. It was like training. It really was like on some hearing that Rocky.
Just going through it.
Yeah, man. And literally I was training. I was working with my man Aaron, who's working with me and my wife, because I was like, I know it's television, so I want to look the part. You know what I mean? And it worked out, man.
Yeah, you pulled it off, brother.
Yeah. Hey, so follow-up question.
That was a long answer, wasn't it?
Can we get Tiffany Haddish on our podcast show?
You could probably, if y'all know her.
I knew her when she was Tiff. And I know her. I don't know how she's Tiffany Haddish.
You should reach it. Listen, let me tell you something. You would be amazed at how Tiffany has a memory. When she told me in the interview, the pre-interview and post-interview that actually they aired some of. When she said, you remember when you met me? I was like, I remember when I started seeing you. I don't remember exactly when we met. But she told this story. She's like, yeah, I was kind of wild and you were reeling me in. And I was like, Tish, just relax. Let them come to you. Don't go chasing her. Let them come to you. And I was like, and then when she specifically pointed out the particular night and myself and Butch Bradley, like, yo, chill, you know, don't hang out this crowd. I was like, I do remember that. You know what I mean? So you'd be amazed if you reached out to her. I wouldn't be surprised. It might take a while.
Yeah.
But she seems like she's open to do any and everything, man.
I got somebody I can go through.
Yeah.
Do that. So man,
I just have to throw it out there.
Tell me what's your what are your tell the viewers and the listeners, what's your interest outside of comedy?
Outside of comedy, I'm a big you know what, I used to collect comic books. I don't collect the way I used to, and that was a real passion, but we moved a lot when I was younger. I went to 3 high schools, and so that made it challenging to keep, because it's always, you have to now find, comic books have exploded. Nerddom has exploded. But back in the days, it was hard to find the comic books that you wanted. I'm a big Star Wars head and a big comic books head, specifically like the X-Men. I just was reading something on the New Mutants and how the New Mutants kind of tanked at the box office, but because of the quarantine, it actually found new legs and new life, and people sort of appreciated it and gave it more of a pass, because I don't think it was a bad movie. I think it was just
bad time.
We've been conditioned to sort of receive superhero movies one way, right? If you look back prior to the Matrix, because the Matrix, Neo and crew, they really were superheroes, right? But we weren't used to seeing superheroes in all black. The bad guy, bad guys wore black, right? And then sort of Matrix sort of flipped it on its head. I say the Matrix and Blade. People don't give Blade the credit it deserves, because Blade,
that's one of my faves.
Blade was really the movie, a black superhero was the one that sparked the entire MCU, the Marvel Comics universe, and people don't really give it credit for being Marvel's first real property that blew up to where they did 2 more sequels. And so I'm a big comic book head, big Star Wars nerd. I just finished The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. The last 4 episodes are fire, but the final episode of Mando is if you're a Star Wars head, you spend the last 20 minutes episode like, And I just my boy Joe DeRosa, who's also a funny comedian and big Star Wars head as well. He just put me on to a bunch of Star Wars lore fan films that were made. There's a guy, Star Wars. This dude wound up getting permission from George Lucas, from Lucasfilm and George Lucas himself, to shoot his own sort of Star Wars stories. And so
what?
Hold on. I'm looking it up because I just watched it on YouTube. What? So the rule was they gave him permission and said, you can do it, but you can't do it for a monetary gain. You can't do it for monetary value. And then the joint came out and it was fire. It was fire. And so hold up, I'm scrolling to look it up. This one's called the dude's name is he goes by the handle Star Wars Theory. Right, okay. he outs down because I'm a Star Wars head. His Metachlorians are more powerful. He's more powerful than mine. And and this thing is called Vader Episode 1: Shards of the Past, a Star Wars Theory fan film, and it's 16 minutes long, but it's dope. And then he was about to shoot after it blew up. Disney was like, yo, we gotta monetize this, and Lucasfilm and crew were like, no, we said it can live where it lives, but there's no money to be gained from it. But dude, I'm like, y'all need to hire him because he's good. And right before the pandemic shut everything down, they were about to work on part 2. and they couldn't do a part 2, so they did an animated trailer for part 2. And I want to, Steph, if you were smiling, so I think you a Star Wars head too. After you watch part 1, I'll send you part 2, or you probably just find it.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna see where it's going, and it's fire.
See, now I'm excited. Now you got me excited. My nerd is coming out. My nerd, my inner blur.
We're Star Wars. We're a Star Wars family over here too.
Oh, boom.
So we're gonna check that out. My kids will love it. My kids would love that.
Yeah.
Yo, so tell me, what's your proudest moment as a comedian so far? Proudest moment.
This moment, I could give you a couple of proud moments. Recently, because you mentioned X passing away, DMX passing, and I've been, the handful of podcasts I've done the last 2 weeks, I told people like one of my favorite moments as a stand-up man was I actually posted a part of it on my Instagram at IamDeanEdwards, was that when 4-3-2-1, the year Biggie was murdered, so this is 97.
Yeah.
I had my second TV appearance was Showtime at the Apollo. LL Cool DMX hadn't dropped as a solo artist yet. I think he had done guest appearances on Mace's 23 Hours to Live and what's the other one? Money, Power, Respect with the Locks. And the other appearance, the appearance that really made us all say, yo, this dude is Illmatic, was him doing LL Cool J's 4-3-2-1 with Meth and Red, and of course DMX and the LL. So I get to the Apollo to tape my episode, because they tape in blocks of about 3 or 4 episodes a day.
Right.
And on my show, X, Red, Meth, and LL are performing. Even though they will edit the show a different way, I actually follow. I go on immediately after them doing 4-3-2-1.
Wow.
So hold up. And the energy, because X, had already been bubbling in the streets on Hot 97 and BLS. Everybody knew the song, knew the record. This was what was really sparking the whole Cannabis and LL beef that eventually, came to a pinnacle. But when X came on, man, if you go to YouTube, you can see the whole clip. Yeah. If you go back like a week and a half, you can see X's verse on my page, because I posted it on there and told the story. I said, like, X, when Red, Meth, they came on and the crowd already lost it. When DMX came out of the back, he was like, "Stay out the dark." Yo, the crowd, I'm getting goosebumps. Look at goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yo, when I tell you, like, it seemed like the walls were gonna cave in, because people like, Ski Mask Boy, baby. Yo.
And Apollo is small. So
Apollo is not a big theater, right?
It's right there.
It's right. You right. And I'm stage right. And the stage manager's like, you got to go on after that. I'm like, let's go. Let's go, son.
Let's do it.
I'm hyped. Because my first joke, because Biggie had just passed, my first joke was a B.I.G. impression, talking about Biggie's. Biggie made it cool to be a big dude, and so I just rode the wave, man. So that's one of my favorite, one of my favorite moments in comedy. Obviously, when I booked SNL, but more specifically, I think when I got Denzel to the update desk right after he and Halle Berry won the Oscars, that was a great moment. Shooting show number 2 for They Ready was awesome, because the first night that we taped, Godfrey had 2 helicopters fly overhead while he was performing, which drowned out punchlines. I had a couple of loud motorcycles drown out punchlines, and a light go off. So there were mishaps the first night, but night number 2 and night number 1, I went on first and Godfrey went on last in the order of 6. And then night number 2, I was the last comic on the last night. And everybody had been crushing. So my energy, I'm all about like running your lap, man, running that relay. And so when Barbara Carlisle ran her lap, and then it was my turn to do my set, I was amped, man. I was hyped. And I was also, it was very humid, because people like, yo, you were sweating, you were working for that. I was hot.
Yeah.
It was real hot. It was humid in Long Beach.
I ain't never seen Dean sweat like that.
Right. So, yeah, man. No, that's dude. I Cause I didn't wipe the sweat because they give you that powder that found, and I didn't want to wipe and like have you see my microphone was suddenly brown, so I was on some. Since we were shooting at Long Beach Terrace Theater where Richard Pryor shot his his opus of live in concert. Yeah. So I was like, well, Richard was sweating and he's amazing. So I'm gonna let the sweat happen. Yeah, let it go.
I had it happen on TV on a set, man. I didn't know about the makeup, not wiping, and I wiped it, and they was like,
yeah. That's where the TV training kicked in. That's where something like working on SNL or other shows made me say, you know what? It's almost like an out of body experience. Like in the moment you're delivering your set and you feeling that trickle of sweat, feeling it where it feels like an ant is running down your face.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, just let it happen. You just gonna look moist.
The one I've only seen sweat so much on stage. I was Leslie Jones' feature for about 2 years.
Leslie goes hard in the paint.
Goes hard in the paint. Your elbows, everything sweat.
Yeah,
like give me a hug. Come on, Les.
But that's so because Leslie is such a physical performer.
Yeah,
and so. Anytime, when she was in New York, we used to like go on the road locally to get do all of the tri-state area. And Leslie, when people say leave it on the stage, Leslie left it on the stage. Night. She went all out every show. Oh, the pop locking. You sucking at that? Tastes like chicken.
I dunk on your ass. Yeah. But with that, man, who do you enjoy watching today? Who you enjoy?
I enjoy Leslie. When she was working on her most recent special for Netflix, I saw her in New York. She was working on it. I enjoyed hers. I love Jim Gaffigan, man. I love Jim Gaffigan. Ian Edwards is amazing.
I love Ian, man.
Ian is dope. Ian makes you. Anytime you watch Ian, you go back home like, yeah, I got to write.
Right.
I need to write some more, man.
What's up?
Moiso Gola, I think I said. Yeah. There's some Aaron Jackson and Kimberly Clark, man. And Barbara Carlisle, but I saw Aaron last night at the Comedy Cellar. Aaron lays me out, and so I'm just a fan of people that when you watch them make you say, oh, were you? Oh, that's how you come in, because it sparks your creativity, and that's what I realized. Chappelle was brilliant because we all make each other better. We steel sharp as steel, and so Chappelle was like, what if I'm in the middle of a cornfield in Ohio? What if I invite all my friends out to chill and call it Camp Chappelle? And so he had a good couple of months run where he just, you inviting everybody from Chris Rock to Jon Stewart to Tiffany dope, to just mad creativity is constantly thriving. Donnell and that just kept. I'm sure they create. I know they just dropped their podcast on Luminary, but I said that was brilliant because it kept him sharp.
That was the first time ever since leaving Ohio that I wanted to go back. It was when I saw that because I'm from the same place and I was like, that was the
dude, I didn't know
time.
you were from Ohio. I did not realize.
Ohio, man. Dude, my mom worked there and all that stuff, man. So
yeah, that's funny.
But that was the first time, only time. So,
right.
What's your comfort foods, man? Your favorite
comfort food? Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. I'm a purist. That's my go-to dish around the holidays that my family wants me to cook. When I was growing up, my tanti, my aunt, she used to make just the best mac and cheese where I would get my Thanksgiving or my Christmas plate, and then I would come back and I was like, and even though people are cutting in a particular order and as it's descending, right? It's descending and the pan is getting thinner and thinner. I was like, nah, I want that corner, so I'm up here.
I want that crust.
I need the crunchy part.
I need the crunchy part.
I need the crunchy part.
So I'm gonna ask that. So what cheese?
Mac and cheese is great.
Use the medium sharp or what?
Cheeses, you need New York sharp cheddar. You need that New York sharp cheddar. what did we just start using? My wife had a new recipe a friend of ours gave us. And it's good. It's
sometimes I put some Gouda in mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gouda
nice
and
creamy.
Asiago.
Yeah.
I might do a little because
Throw
you know what
like
I'll
3, 4,
also
5
do.
cheeses.
Yeah, man, just to give it a nice kick. And you know what? Like I said, I'm a mac and cheese purist, so I'm not big when people like we have lobster mac and cheese. I'm like, I don't need all that.
Yeah, I need all that.
If the mac and cheese is good, why would you want a distraction?
Exactly.
Right.
Just have the mac and cheese. Yeah. But I have lately. There's a comedy club in New York called The Stand, and they have this dope truffle oil mac and cheese, which I had never heard of until then. Yo, and it's cooked, it's pan seared.
Yeah, that's how you know it's a guy, man. That
delicious.
The truffle oil is a banger. But now I'm seeing. Like we went to the movies for the first time. That's another big passion of mine that I missed. If I miss anything amidst all of this, aside from just being able to go out and perform, it's the movies. I'm a big movie junkie, and my wife and I, we like to just, we have the type of jobs that allow us. She's a professor, so on a Friday, like after we work out on Fridays, we are used to. Let's go see a movie, and it can be a big blockbuster, or it can be an indie. We went to the movies for the first time last night, man, and saw Bob Odenkirk's Nobody. Yo,
I've seen it, yo.
Okay, so Nobody is. I'm now a fan of the director, and I'm looking up the writer, and I'm actually happy for Odenkirk because he now gets to flex a different muscle. People know him from Mr. Show and even Better Call Saul and obviously Breaking Bad. Right. But this shows him in a new, I'm not gonna say what type of light, but it's an entertaining popcorn film. And I brought that up because they had truffle oil popcorn, and I said to my wife, I said, should I just get butter? She's like, yeah, they're trying too hard now. Now it's like the same, like truffle oils, avocados. There's certain things.
It's just become popular. And they go with it.
Once it becomes popular, then everyone's like, "Oh, we need to overuse it."
Like poke. That's what I say with poke.
Right.
So you see Michael B. Jordan's joint yet?
No, because it came out yesterday. So it's good.
I stay on them. Yes, I'm on a before pre-pandemic, I was on a TV show that we reviewed the movies out here, regional California. So I'm so used to when movies come out, I'm on them and whatever. So it's good.
You're not married, are you? You're not married.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no. That's why
she left me because of that.
No,
so,
no. The reason I asked is because there's certain movies that. Y'all say, "Oh, we're gonna watch this together," and then you can't pre-watch it like sometimes because the streamer will snitch on you.
That's true.
The streamer will snitch on you. You can't watch something and say, "All right, I'm just 30 minutes in, let me just," because you'll mess around. You go back to it and it says continue, and like, oh damn. Snitch on me.
I make sure to reset it.
Right.
Interesting question for you. So politics have been heavy in the news and everything. Right. If you ran for office, what office would you run for, and why would you be good at it?
I would run. I would say I'd run for the mayor of McDonald's City, like the dude that gets to wear the big burger in his hat. Because everybody votes for the McRib to come back. I don't even eat pork. That's an easy platform. McRibs, at least twice a year.
Dean, the debate is the McRib is not meat. Something is that.
Listen. Is anything there really food?
No.
No. Mayor McCheese, that's his name. Yeah, I mean, there was a point where. I've because we have a cat, and there's sometimes I like, McDonald's is not something you do often, but you'll have a craving that'll hit you. Like, I want some McDonald's fries. I'm gonna get a fish sandwich,
and you're gonna pay for it for a week.
And you're gonna pay for it. Yeah. You're gonna pay for it. But I'm boxed 2-3 days a week, so I'm burning it off. So I'll get them, and the cat will come over, and the cat is sniffing because it smells food, and then you see the cat just sniffing, and then it's like, yo, what you consuming, dog?
What you eat?
Right.
You put that in your mouth? You're eating that?
Yeah. Even the cat's like,
it's not food.
Yeah.
And then they just walk away condescendingly, like, oh, dumb humans.
You ain't got to worry about me sniffing in that at all.
At all.
Right.
So I'll go put a fry up to their face. Like, what? Yeah. Ew.
So question for you. Once all said and done, once your career and everything is all said and done, what does success look like?
You mean once I die?
Yeah.
My career's
yeah, I got it. So but once
I transcend this plane, right? We can't even say people died. Now we transcend this physical plane. Well, yeah, when I'm going, I hope people say, he made us laugh and he gave us some positive light, man. That's my goal, is to inspire. That's what I can say about you.
That's what I was gonna say, and I'm giving you flowers. I'm into giving people their flowers when they hear, man, and you are very inspiring. Very. When I first met you, just like I was inspired by your demeanor and the way you go about your business and the way you treated people made me be like, yo, that's the way you're supposed to treat people in this business.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks.
Because everybody can be funny to this point, but everybody can't be a comedian's comedian, or you don't want to be the funny asshole. You don't want to be
right.
You want to be the dude,
and we know those two.
Right. That dude is undeniably funny, one of the best doing his thing, and he's a good person, man. That's like. So I got to tell you that, man. That really.
Oh, thanks, man. I look, Bernie Mac was like that, and so that's who I aspire to. Like Bernie was just hella funny. No, you never find anybody say anything negative about Bernie. And he just, when he walked through the room, he's like, shoot, there's room at the cross, and everybody, he spread love. And that's I was like, hey, you know what? He was very generous to me when I first started, very friendly when he didn't have to be.
Yeah, me too, man. That's funny you said it, Bernie, because I asked Bernie Mac, I said, can I get 5 minutes of your time? We talked for 2.5 hours.
Boom. Yo.
He was just like so real and so just and connecting with you. Like,
right.
Man, my dad was from there too.
Yeah, you have a moment. There's something beautiful about having like a real moment, because hopefully, clearly he affected you. That memory is still fresh in your mind. All these years later. He affected me in 93, and here we are 28 years later, and it still resonates with me, and that also affects how I move throughout the world, where I'm like, you know what, for the most part, I'll do anybody. Like, of course I'm gonna do your joint because you called me and you're my friend, but most of the time, people reach out, I'm like, I'll do it, because if nothing else, this the quarantine has taught us that we have time if we want to make the time. And
absolutely right.
It's nothing for you to take, carve out, a little portion of your day to go do someone's, whether it's podcast, or give them a kind word or what have you, because that you might affect them. It affects people more than we realize, and so I have no problem doing so.
Bernie, man, I'll never forget the week he passed. I was taping One Mic Stand.
Okay.
And it affected me greatly, and I had a terrible set the first time I did it. And and who had gone before me, Mike Bonner, had gone before me. And I had a terrible set, and then so Kev said, "Man, we just come back and tape tomorrow, whatever."
Oh, that's dope.
I had to go back, and I had to get myself together, because that was really affected me. And they were doing the memorial at the comedy store and all that stuff. So anyway, but that's because he affected me great. That was one of the major reasons I got it. I was the first dude that I saw live do comedy for 2.5 hours. And everybody in stitches. It wasn't no lulls. It wasn't no. I said, this dude is 2.5 hours in.
Right. Where you keep checking your watch, like, he's still going.
Yo, I was like, this is bananas, man. Dayton Convention Center, I'll never forget it, man. So that affected me greatly.
Bernie was something else. You know what? And in fairness to you, I wasn't at your taping, but that One Mic Stand crowd stunk. They were all, because they were models. They hired an audience. And they hired an audience,
and they held them hostage all day too.
And held them hostage all day.
I was like,
probably didn't feed them. Might have had water for them, so they were in a bad mood. And then they're like, here, now go make them laugh. After them sitting it hostage for hours.
And then my audience happened to be an African audience, African mom. And they was like, we don't understand what you're talking about.
I don't know why. Nothing you're saying is funny.
Right. I was making references to social media. They were like, oh no, we don't know about the reality TV.
Right.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That's
rough. That's real rough.
Hey, I can admit it. It was bad, but
no, it was. It was.
Thank you, man, for being with us today, yo. We got
my man.
We got one more question, and then
of course. Okay.
We got one more question which we ask everybody. So I'll let Kristy take that over.
Okay.
All right. So okay, Dean, you ready? It's a food question. All right.
Okay.
So if you can invite 3 people to dinner, 3 people, they could be dead or alive, whoever you want them to be. Who would they be, and what would you be serving up for dinner? And it don't have to be something you cook, but it could be your awesome mac and cheese too.
Any meal,
I'm serving my mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I might serve my mac and cheese, like everything I cook that that my family likes. My mac and cheese, my lasagna is banging because, and what I like about it is it's not vegan because it's real cheese, but I use either Beyond Meat or Morningstar crumbles. Okay. And people that eat meat don't know the difference until it's too late. Usually afterwards. Don't tell them. That's the trick. Everybody out there that wants to like tricks, don't tell them. And then afterwards, tell them, there was no meat. And I thought that was meat. You're like, nah, that was. And then you show. They're like, yo,
no, wait,
that ain't half bad. I'm like, what you mean half bad? You enjoyed it. Now that's like saying it actually was.
Are you vegan?
No. My wife is a pescatarian, so I don't eat a lot. I haven't eaten pork in 30 years.
Good. That's why your skin look good.
Yeah, he's glowing. I won't say I don't eat red meat, but it's on rare occasion. Like I ate red meat about a month ago because I was upstate and a buddy of mine, he had barbecued and he was like, yo, you gotta taste this. And I haven't had a beef rib. I don't even know. Like I know I haven't had one in a long time because when he handed it to me, I said, this is a tree. Like he handed me this big. I was like, what am I supposed to do? But it was so. I was like, if Beyond could duplicate that flavor, like that, short ribs, like things like that. I'm good. So I would cook those things. Dead or alive. Who would I kick it with? I will kick it with I'm sure like Eddie Murphy and I will break bread, because that's the whole reason for doing this. I'd love to hang out with Whoopi Goldberg. Seems like she'd be just a dope source of just a great conversation.
Yo, on that note, do you know Whoopi? I tell everybody Whoopi's one of the coldest stand-ups. People don't know.
Yeah, man.
Fontaine?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Fontaine.
Oh, man.
Fontaine was dude. Whoopi Goldberg is dope and a talented actress and just and even bigger than that, been doing her thing for people don't actually realize, the lay person I don't think realizes like for someone to still be so culturally relevant.
Yes.
Nearly 40 years into their career, man, is
amazing.
Yeah, such a high level consistently.
Always.
Whoopi hasn't really had I'm sure she might say she's had a dip, whether it's been like I remember she was hosting a radio show, I think on BLS out here in New York, but I don't even look at those as dips. She might have wanted to have time with her family, with her daughter or grandchildren, what have you. And who's third? And a friend of the family, like Mel Brooks, he's a friend of the family because his son wrote with me on SNL.
What?
And Mel is someone that just kicking it. I did drop
Blazing
that
Saddles,
name.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? I've never been able to fan out the way I can say that like I wanted to fan out on Mel Brooks, but because Max is that's my dude. So anytime I was around like him and even God bless his wife Ann Bancroft who passed some years ago, just had to chill and act like, oh yeah, that's Mel Brooks and Ann Bancroft. But in my mind I'm like,
yeah.
Like I would love to sit with those three and just kick it on some just talk comedy, just talk influences, everything from Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, the Honeymooners to
some great ones.
I tell people that man, Carol Burnett and the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, dude, Carol Burnett, how dope would that? Like, man. I had a couple of friends that know, got to kick with legends, and that's what I find interesting is it's shocking, but it's not, because this is what we do. Yeah. So my friend Lynn Koplitz, she was like really good friends with Joan Rivers, and Joan gave her a bunch of things, and on one hand, you're like, wow, you were friends with, but I'm like, yeah, that's you come up in comedy, and Joan was the queen, at some point, and she also wants to vibe with some new energy. So her and Lynn, clicked, and I've had people say, yeah, oh man, I remember the first time I met Carol Burnett. I'm like, you met Carol Burnett, yeah, it's amazing, but because we're future greats, we've all affected someone that's just starting out. Yeah. And so that going back to what I was saying, why wouldn't you want to inspire people, man? And that's what pushes and motivates what we do on stage. You want to be average, you want to be great. I want to be great, man. Every time, like, be as great as possible.
Love and light. You hear that, Kristy? I love it. I
love it. I mean, there's so much inspiration and positivity with this. We appreciate that, Dean. I mean, you sharing your story and just throwing that out there, not just throwing the big names, but saying how, they potentially can shape who you or somebody else. I love that.
Yeah. So where you gonna be at next, man? Where you at next with
you know what? Actually, you can obviously, if you haven't watched They Ready season 2, make sure you watch the entire season. My episode is episode 6, and then I love episode 7 because it's just a comedians roundtable of us just talking shop. That's a great show. Last week I recorded. There's a new show on Fox Networks, not Fox News, Fox Networks, that has like The Simpsons and Bob's Burger. There's a new show, Robert Smigel, who is one of the creatives from Saturday Night Live and also Triumph and so Comic Dog. He has a new show called Let's Be Real, that combines politics, pop culture, and puppets. And so I
saw that. I saw that. Yeah,
oh, dude, you heard me. You heard me. I was O.J. Simpson.
Oh, man.
I did the O.J. Simpson. There's a really funny vaccination sketch, and I was the voice of O.J. And they just called me to record something else on Monday. So I don't know when this drops, but this coming Thursday, I mean, this will be evergreen, so you'll be able to watch it again. But Thursday, May 6th, I'll be on episode 2 of that. You can catch me on the upcoming season of The Last OG. We're shooting.
Oh, nice.
One of my favorite shows.
One of my husband's favorite shows too.
And Tiffany Haddish is on there, and
right.
Tracy Morgan.
Yeah. Well,
hey, real quick, did Rich tell you about that show?
I've lived through all of it. I've lived through it because a good friend, writing partner Mark Theobald writes on the show. Owen Smith. Oh, you know Owen.
Y'all know Owen, yeah.
Owen's the showrunner this season. Owen is the showrunner. Yeah, man. Owen's doing big things. Yeah. They actually they did me solid. They wrote a character into a episode named Dean, who's a barber, and they wrote it with me in mind. So that's why. See, kids, if you rub people the right way, pause, right? Mm-hmm. If people want to be around you and you leave a good impact on people want to pull you in and recognize your talent. So I'm excited about that, and I'm part of the Dubai Comedy Festival in a couple of weeks. So yeah, man, I'm staying busy.
And they can find you where? Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on my social media at I am Dean Edwards, and make sure you check out. I'll say that again. My social media, specifically, everyone finds their favorites: Facebook or Twitter, or Instagram. I'm mainly on Instagram, and then whatever I put on Instagram goes to all the others. I do a weekly podcast every Monday night called the Father Muckin Protocol. on Instagram Live. It's a weekly podcast, similar to this, where I invite some of my favorite friends that happen to be creatives, whether it's comedians or actors or casting, and directors, producers. I've had everyone from Tiffany Haddish, Marina Franklin to Sebastian Maniscalco, Jim Gaffigan, Godfrey, Avion Crockett, Jay Farrow, Daryl Hammond. You know, we've had all these greats come on and really share their insight. Angela Johnson, because I know she has a big following up there in the Northern California, man. And people just come on, and what I love about it is people really not only share their insight and their journeys and how they got started and how they maneuvered the peaks and valleys, because we all recognize the successes, but you know, people don't know that Angela Johnson was right before she popped. You know, she was like a month away from possibly saying, maybe I'm not going to do this anymore. You know, Sebastian waiting tables, you know, Tiffany, everyone knows Tiffany's story. You know, everybody has some great stories and some great insight. And so this Monday, I have friend Jessica Curson is coming on. She just produced and starred in this documentary that aired on FX called Hysterical, about, you know, females in comedy, female comedians and their struggles and how they've overcome and really made headway, you know, in a male dominated business. Margaret Cho just did my joint a couple of weeks ago, you know, so yeah, we just, and they're all, the majority, almost all of the episodes are on my page. If you want to watch old episodes, they're on my page at I Am Dean Edwards. And I also have a new YouTube channel that we're in the process. We already have about 20 episodes up. And we're uploading about 4 episodes every week. So for people that don't have Instagram, you can also go to my YouTube channel at I Am Dean Edwards.
If you don't have Instagram, you probably have a computer, and you probably cannot. You probably have a typewriter,
you're an abacus.
You have a
typewriter. And you have a home phone still. You still got a home phone and no cell phone. So, hey, man, thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean.
Appreciate it, Kristy. Thank you,
man.
Sharon.
Off the change. This has been our first segment, and we'll be right back after these messages from a word from our sponsors. Thank you very much.
Yes.